At 8:03 a.m., I opened an email from my daughter with a subject line that felt like a hand over my mouth. Stay out of the wedding hall. Watch the live stream. Okay, I know what to do. I read it twice, then a third time, because a message like that doesn't ask for permission. It sets a trap. I was sitting at my kitchen table in Cedar Mesa, a desert town where secrets either sink deep or blow across the highway like dust. Coffee cooling, to-do list half scribbled, sun creeping over the back fence. A normal morning until I clicked open. There it was, 6 short lines from Maya. No greetings, no emojis, just a timestamp, a link, and a warning. Subject: stay out of the wedding hall, Mom. Don't come inside today. Don't try to talk to anyone. Watch the live stream instead, okay? I know what to do. My breath shortened without my say-so. People think fear makes you loud. The real kind makes you quiet. Maya is 24, smart, stubborn, born with a voice that could cut glass or stitch it back together. She and I had argued for 2 months straight about this wedding, not about the dress or the music, the groom. Ethan Hale, handsome in a catalog way, polite the way a locked door is polite. He managed a farm supply company on the edge of town and collected favors like bottle caps. He also collected stories he didn't want to tell. The fight started when Maya found a string of messages on his tablet. Half-clever lies to a woman named K.A. photo cropped tight, a hotel lamp in the corner. Ethan swore it was old. He cried. He blamed stress. He blamed me. He promised a fresh start and produced an upgrade ring as if more shine could blind the truth. Maya called off the engagement for exactly 48 hours. Then the town started whispering. Ethan's mother stopped by with a pie and a threat wrapped in sugar. "Don't ruin this after everything we've done, dear." My daughter hates pity more than pain. On day 3, she put the ring back on her finger and said, "I'll fix it from the inside." I begged her to leave. She hugged me instead, and I felt how hard she had become around the edges. Now, the email. I clicked the livestream link once, then saved it to my desktop and my phone. I took a photo of the screen with the URL visible, a habit from years of working as a records clerk at the county office. Paper trails don't start with paper anymore. They start with proof you can't edit by accident. The phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "We'll have a seat for you up front, Ms. Winters." Don't be late. No signature, just the cold. I didn't answer. I forwarded it to my backup email and a folder named Event. I titled it threat_seat_unknown.txt. It looked ridiculous in black and white. Sometimes truth looks like that before it bites. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments about which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. I dressed like I was running Aran jeans, boots, a dark sweater that didn't show sweat. I put my hair up and slipped a small notebook in my pocket, the kind you can open with one hand while the other is shaking. I printed Maya's email and sealed it in an envelope, then took out my keys and paused. If I went to the wedding hall, I would go inside. That's what mothers do. But the email was a rope thrown from a moving car. Grab it wrong and you get dragged. I drove to the venue and parked 2 blocks away under the shadow of a closed antique store. The hall was a new building, all glass and money. A banner hung between 2 mesquite trees, "Hail Winters" in gold. I almost laughed. The font was too cheerful for what this morning felt like. Guests drifted toward the entrance in soft colors and careful smiles. I stayed in my car and angled my phone so the windshield glare turned the screen into a mirror. The live stream counted down from 10 o'clock with a soft chime every minute. A chat window popped open. Hearts, doves, usernames with last names I recognized from city council and country clubs. At 9:27 a.m., a gray SUV rolled past slow. The driver wore a brimmed hat pulled low, hands at 10 and 2 like a lesson book. He didn't look left or right. He didn't have to. The SUV circled the block once again. On the second pass, I lifted my phone like I was checking a map and snapped a photo of the plate. I sent it to a friend at the DMV who owed me a favor from long ago. Need a read. Quietly inside the hall, the camera feed showed florists adjusting a wall of white roses, a string quartet taking their places, a planner whispering into a headset. The picture was too clear. You could almost smell the money in the air. At 9:41, my friend texted back, "Rental, cash, temp insurance." I saved the message and stared at the street until the numbers on the countdown shifted again. I called Maya. Straight to voicemail. I sent one text. "I got your email. I'm outside. I'll follow your lead. I love you." It stayed undelivered for breath, then turned blue. Read no reply. The SUV didn't come back. A different car had a black sedan with its windows up and a scratch on the rear door like a finger had tried to write in dust. It pulled into the valet lane, idled, then rolled away without dropping anyone off. I took another photo. Event folder, timestamp, location. At 9:58, the livestream switched angles to the stage. The officiant cleared his throat. People started to sit. The string quartet shifted to a song I recognized from too many commercials, a melody about love you can license. I set my phone on the dashboard, hit record, and whispered to no one, "Okay, Maya. Do what you came to do." The doors at the back of the hall opened. Ethan walked down the aisle first. Not normal. He was supposed to wait at the front. He smiled like he'd practiced in a mirror for weeks. My hands went cold. He reached the stage and turned toward the doors with his arms spread wide, as if the whole town were a camera. The music swelled. Maya did not appear. The quartet held the last note too long. The planner whispered into her headset like she was praying. Ethan stood alone at the front, smiling too wide for a face with nerves. The camera operator zoomed in on his cufflinks, tiny silver anchors, then pulled back fast as if even metal wanted out. I watched the chat explode on my phone screen. "Hail family friend. Running late? At Mesa Moms? Dress emergency?" At K.West, I took a breath and wrote 3 lines in my notebook. 9:58, groom enters alone. 9:59, no bride at doors. 10 o'clock, music stalls, paper steadies hands, time sharpens eyes. At 10:01, my email dinged. From M, no subject. 5 words, if doors stall, watch screens. Below it, 2 links. A, primary, and B, backup if stream cuts. A short note, record everything, don't come in. M. I saved both links to the event folder, then took photos of the screen with my second phone. Redundancy over pride. A gray reflection of my own face hovered over the links for a moment, like another witness. Inside, the officiant tried a joke about timing. It died halfway to the front row. A bridesmaid in pale blue stepped into view and spoke to the planner, hands fluttering, smile fixed. The camera caught 3 seconds of her mouth forming the word "where" before the feed jumped to a wide shot of the flowers. The black sedan rolled by again, slower, window down an inch. I lifted my phone, shot the plate, and sent it to the same friend at DMV with 1 word. Add. The reply came back quickly. Owned by Hale Supply. Ethan's company. Insurance current. No driver was listed. The chat ticked faster. Riverton News. Anyone else watching this? At Cousin Jen. Everything is fine. At Mesa Moms. Then show the bride. My phone buzzed with a number I didn't know. A text. You are outside? Come in. Families sit together. No punctuation, no name. I filed it as threat_seat_unknown_2.txt and kept my hands away from the ignition. Inside, the planner moved to the back door and nodded to the quartet. The music swelled again, louder this time, a demand. The doors opened for the second time. Maya still didn't appear. A murmur rolled the room like wind. The camera shook a little, then steadied on Ethan's face. His smile collapsed into something hard. He checked his watch. The officiant glanced at the side aisle. At 10:03, my email dinged again. From M subject line, if they cut the feed. The body was 1 sentence, do not panic. Switch to B under it, a single attachment, exhibits_list.txt. I opened it. Exhibit A, messages. K, timestamps, locations. Exhibit B, hotel invoices. K, plus E, 2 names, 1 room, 3 cities. Exhibit C, employee payroll adjustments. Hale Supply, consultant K. Exhibit D, NDA template with altered clauses. Exhibit E, Audio. You'll keep quiet if you want that promotion. Exhibit F. Video. Rehearsal night, 10:27 p.m. I stared at the last line. Rehearsal night. My skin went cold. Maya hadn't been trying to fix anything. She had been collecting. On the live stream, the ceiling screens behind the stage flickered once, twice, like an eyelid fighting sleep. The quartet faltered. The planner stiffened. The camera cut to a slide that read, Maya and Ethan forever in gold script, then froze. The smudge of a figure moved at the edge of the frame. An AV tech in a black shirt reached for a laptop. A flash of blue at his wrist. Bracelet, hospital band, no, a rubber drive cover. He looked up toward the balcony, nodded once, and clicked. The gold script vanished. A black title card filled every screen. If you're here for a wedding, stay seated. If you're here for the truth, press unmute. The chat blew open. At Riverton News, what is this at Hale Family Friend? Turn it off at Mesa Moms. Unmute, unmute, unmute. I hit unmute in my car. Nothing. The hall's stream audio was still cut. The caption at the bottom said, Audio disabled by host. Of course they tried. I opened Maya's B-Link. A second feed loaded, shakier, smaller, from a phone set high in a corner. The angle was wrong, but the audio worked. I turned it up. The first sound was the room itself. Breaths, whispers, a cough, then a voice I knew as well as my own. Maya. Good morning, she said, calm, clear. If you're watching this, please keep your seats. I promise I will not waste your time. And Ethan, you don't have to look for me, I'm right here. The camera in B stayed wide, but the hall's main feed, still on my dashboard, held the title card another half-second and then cut mid-frame. Feed unavailable. The backup link kept breathing. Maya kept speaking. 2 months ago, she said, I found messages. I asked for the truth. I got stories. So I did what my mother taught me. I started a record. Somewhere inside, the officiant moved to the AV table and spoke fast. A man in a dark suit, Ethan's attorney, if I had to guess, reached to yank a cable. The AV tech stepped between him and the laptop with a face that said, I'm paid through noon. From the corner of my eye, I saw motion on the street. The gray SUV turned the corner and stopped behind me, engine idling low. I didn't look at the driver. I glanced at the mirror, clicked the door lock down, and wrote one more line. 10:05, primary feed cut. Backup live. SUV returns. Inside the hall, the title card disappeared. A video queued up. The first frame was a hotel door number 217, lit by a lamp with a crooked shade. Maya's voice. Exhibit F. The keycard light blinked green. The door swung open. On the backup feed, the hotel door opened into a room too tidy to be innocent. The camera, Maya's I realized, was angled from the dresser, half hidden behind a lamp. You could see the door, the bed, the mirror. Ethan walked in first, jacket over his shoulder, tie loose, that same catalog smile clipped at the edges. A woman followed, hair up, black dress, a quick glance at the peephole. The mirror caught their faces for a clean second. Exhibit F, Maya's voice repeated, steady. Rehearsal night, 10:27 p.m. In my car, I wrote, 10:06, Exhibit F plays. Subjects, Ethan plus female, K. Inside the hall, people shifted. A cough, a chair leg scraped. The attorney moved again for the AV cart. The tech planted his feet and shook his head. He wasn't paid enough for this, but he was paid enough to stand still. On screen, Ethan set 2 keycards on the dresser. The audio was clear enough to catch the tone, if not every word. Just an hour, he said. No one will know. The woman laughed without humor. They always know. They just don't look. He kissed her. In the mirror, the truth watched them. The video cut to black. Maya's voice. Exhibit A. Screens filled with messages, blue and gray bubbles marching down a phone. Timestamps, hotel names, a pet name Ethan promised he would never use it. The camera zoomed on one line. K. You said the raise is tied to discretion. Ethan, don't make this complicated. K. Then put it in writing. Ethan, I'll handle payroll. You just smile tomorrow. The chat on my backup feed ran hot. At Riverton News, we are recording at Mesa Moms. Is this legal at Hale Family Friend? I tapped
This is a
playing.
smear.
Ethan's voice came through a little tiny, like a pocket recording. A door closing. Then, you'll keep quiet if you want that promotion. Another voice. K, low, controlled. And if I don't? Silence. A chuckle you could mistake for charm if you wanted to. You will. Back on the backup feed, Maya spoke again, a touch softer now. To our guests, I am not late. I am exactly on time. To Ethan, you once told me paper was for people who couldn't keep a story straight. A small exhale. I listened. The hall doors opened for a third time. Everyone turned. It wasn't Maya. It was the officiant, walking off the stage, removing his mic, and setting it on the AV table like a man returning a borrowed thing. He whispered to the planner. Her shoulders dropped 1 inch. She nodded. In my rear view, the SUV driver leaned a little, trying to see my face through the tint. I lifted my phone, dialed a number I knew by fingertip. Captain Ramirez. When he picked up, I didn't look away from the hall on my screen. 2 units to the Mesa Hall, I said. Possible disturbance. Send one to the back lot for a gray SUV. Out-of-state rental. Aggressive posture. On it, he said. ETA 5. Inside, the screens went dark. The projector fans wound down. 100 breaths filled the gap. Then the house lights dimmed, on purpose this time. A single spotlight hit the balcony rail. Maya stepped into it. White suit, hair pinned up, eyes clear. She held a folder under one arm and a small microphone in the other. She didn't look at Ethan. She looked at the guests, the camera, the town. Good morning, she said again. The ceremony we planned is canceled. The truth is not. Ethan shouted something I couldn't hear on the dead main feed. On the backup, his voice cut through. You're crazy. This is defamation. Maya didn't flinch. Defamation is a lie dressed clean, she said. This is a record. From the corner of my eye, I saw the gray SUV's door crack open. I reached for the door lock with one hand and the horn with the other, and stopped. Headlights turned the corner fast. 2 patrol cars slid into the block like commas in a sentence that had been running too long. I breathed once. On screen, Maya opened the folder. Inside were printed pages with bright tabs, A through F. She lifted A between finger and thumb. Let's finish what we started, she said. The chat lit up like a struck match. At Riverton News, live at courthouse after at Mesa Moms, girl I'm crying at Hale Family Friend, leave. I added 1 line to my notebook, my hand finally steady. 10:14, Maya enters, control shifts, and then the backup feed stuttered. Buffer wheel, 1 spin, 2. The hall's Wi-Fi throttled at the source. The picture froze on Maya's face, mid-breath, like a promise. I opened my hotspot. I switched the stream to cellular. The wheel turned once more and cleared. On the street, a patrolman tapped the SUV's window. The brimmed hat tilted, then lifted. I couldn't see the driver's eyes, only the moment he decided whether today would get louder. Inside, Maya raised B. Payroll, she said, and the price of silence. The room leaned forward. So did I. Maya held B to the light. Payroll, she said, and the price of silence. On the backup feed, the right screen lit with Hale Supply ledgers, clean columns, dirty intent. Round numbers tagged Consultant K on weeks that matched the hotel invoices. In my notebook, 10:15, Exhibit B on screen. Pattern, travel weeks, consultant pay. Ethan's attorney lunged for the AV cart. The deputy didn't move much, just one hand out, palm open, the kind of stop that says, "Don't make me stand up." The attorney stopped. Up in the balcony, Maya put B back in the folder and lifted D. Non-disclosure, she said, with a custom line added by counsel. The projector threw the clause in yellow for the whole room. Personal interactions that might reasonably cause reputational harm. Guests didn't breathe. You could hear the paper. Ethan barked a laugh that sounded like a chair dragged across tile. "You stole those," he shouted. "That's illegal." Maya didn't look at him. The things you pay for with company money, she said, belong to the company, Ethan. HR confirmed the audits are already open. She tapped the folder once. Redaction keys on file? The gray SUV behind me idled forward an inch. A patrolman leaned on the window and spoke. The brimmed hat shook once, then twice. Hands appeared on the wheel. Good. A second unit rolled past me toward the venue's side entrance. Inside, the house lights flickered. Then the main power cut. The screens died. The quartet's last note fell into the dark and didn't hit anything. For one heartbeat, the room went black. Emergency lights snapped on. Thin strips along the floor, 2 dim cans over the balcony. The AV tech lifted a battery pack the size of a brick and plugged a cable into a small projector already aimed at a white wall. A ghost image blinked alive. Grainy, crooked. Enough. Maya didn't flinch. If you came for pretty, she said, voice steady in the hush, I'm sorry. If you came for true, lean in. She raised the audio file. This next part is short. On my backup feed, the waveform bar crept across the screen while Ethan's recorded voice filled the hall from the battery speaker. You'll keep quiet if you want that promotion. Then Kay's firm reply, and if I don't? His chuckle. You will. Someone in the second row stood up quickly, then sat back down like the floor moved. Ethan's mother covered her mouth, eyes wide as if volume itself was rude. I glanced at the street. The SUV driver turned his head just enough for me to catch his profile in my rear view. Late 20s, clean shave, nervous jaw. He said something to the patrolman. The patrolman glanced toward the service alley, then into his radio. I wrote, 10:18. Power cut. Battery projector live. SUV driver agitated. Patrol eyes on alley. Back inside, Maya held the mic close. I set scheduled emails, she said matter of fact. At 10:30, exhibits A through F, go to the board of Hale Supply, HR, the county auditor, and 3 reporters. If anyone touches this equipment or me, the send locks. If we finish, I cancel the timer. She let that sit. Your choice. A murmur rolled the room. Relief from those who wanted order, panic from those who wanted the old story to keep breathing. Ethan took 2 fast steps toward the side stairs. The deputy by the aisle stepped once, blocking, and let him choose a better idea. He didn't. Defamation, he said again, lower there in the dark. Lies. Maya lifted an inch. You looked straight into a mirror, Ethan. She turned back to the crowd. We will end quickly. The far exit door cracked. A sliver of sun knifed in. A figure slipped through the service entrance at the back up, shoulders narrow, movement careful. Not big. Not sure. The battery projector threw a weak rectangle across him for a second, enough for the AV tech to notice. He tapped his headset and pointed. The chat on my phone heated. At Riverton News, power cut. Projector back up at Mesa Moms. Who's at the door at Town Watch? Police at side entrance. I thumbed Captain Ramirez. Service door activity. Inside unit? He replied, 2 at side. Hold. Maya raised C-payroll adjustments. If you are an employee named in these files and you are in this room, she said gently, I am sorry this is public. I tried private. I was told to smile. She looked at the balcony rail. You don't have to smile. A woman near the back stood. Not Kay. Older, gray blazer, HR badge shining in the emergency light. She didn't say anything. She just stepped into the aisle and crossed her arms like someone who had slept badly for months and finally saw morning. The room shifted around her. The battery projector hiccuped. The AV tech slapped the brick with a practiced hand, and it steadied. Ethan's attorney whispered into a phone. Face turned to the wall like calling the wall would help. Ethan stared at Maya as if staring had ever moved a fact. I watched the SUV in my mirror. The driver's door opened a notch, then shut again. The patrolman didn't blink. He just tapped the roof with 2 fingers. Stay, and spoke into the radio once more. Siren noise somewhere distant. Not here yet, just enough to change the air. Maya lifted A again and breathed. We're almost done. She glanced toward the main doors. When this ends, please exit slowly and be kind to the staff. This was not their choice. Someone near the front pulled a fire alarm. A sharp bell shattered the room. Half the guests jumped. The red strobe began its 1-second heartbeat. Sprinkler heads waited like teeth above the flowers. The battery projector image wavered in the flashes. The AV tech threw a clear tarp over the cart with one hand and held the cable with the other. Maya didn't move. "In 10 minutes," she said into the alarm, voice steady. "The scheduled emails send. In 5, I will cancel them if the record stands without harm. If you pull wires, pull alarms, or touch that cart, the send stays." She set Dee on the rail and looked down to the floor where Ethan stood, breathing hard. "Please, sit down." For a beat, even the alarm seemed to take a breath between rings. Ethan didn't sit. He pivoted toward the side aisle that led to the service door, the same door now cracked open. The deputy stepped once more to block. The hooded figure at the service entrance moved, deciding, then slipped fully into the hall, something small and dark in his hand. In my car, my hand found a horn. Inside, 100 heads turned at once toward that door. The patrolman by the SUV put a hand to his holster and said something I couldn't hear. The strobe washed the balcony white and red. Maya raised the last tab in the folder, F, and the projector threw the hotel room number back on the wall like a warning. The figure at the door hesitated, and the fire sprinklers clicked, ready to choose a side. The sprinklers clicked and held. The alarm kept screaming. Red light washed the balcony like a pulse you could see. The hooded figure froze in the doorway, that small, dark object tight in his hand. "Hands," the deputy called, voice firm and level. "Show me your hands." The figure lifted both, palms open, objects dangling by a loop. Not a gun. A box cutter with the blade retracted. "Drop it," the deputy said. The box cutter clattered once against the floor. The figure, thin, early 20s, kept his hands high. His hood slipped back enough for the battery projector to catch his face. I recognized him from the Hale loading dock. Always running, always looking down. Maya's voice threaded through the alarm. "No one touch him," she said. "Everyone stays seated." Ethan saw his chance. He lunged toward the service door, aiming to slip past the deputy and the kid in the hood. The deputy moved fast, one step, hip turn, arm up, and Ethan hit a human wall he hadn't counted on. He stumbled, caught himself, and glared like laws were rude. The kid whispered, "He told me to cut the cords," as if confession could be small. The deputy nodded toward the box cutter on the floor. "Not today." Outside, a patrol car's siren cut short as it slid to the alley. In my mirror, the gray SUV's driver slumped back, palms still on the wheel, choices draining out of him like air. The battery projector flickered. The AV tech tapped the brick, held the cable, and stared at the ceiling like he was praying for electricity. Maya set the last tab on the rail but didn't press play. She lifted the mic and let the alarm paint her words with urgency. "I set the send for 10:30, she said. "We have 4 minutes. She looked down at Ethan. "You will not touch me. You will not touch staff. You will not call this a misunderstanding. You will step back, you will listen, and then you will leave this hall with your lawyer and your mother. We will handle the rest with people who wear badges, not cufflinks." Ethan started to speak. The deputy's eyes said, "Think." He swallowed the word and took one reluctant step back. Maya turned to the guests. "If you were paid to be quiet," she said, voice softer, "I'm sorry it had to happen here. If you were told to smile, you don't have to. If you're an employee who tried to fix this from inside, I see you. HR, the board, and the auditor will have every file within minutes. The company can be better than one man's choices." She held up her phone. The screen glowed red with a cancel send button and a countdown. 0312, 0311, 0310. "I will cancel this if the record stands uncontested, if we walk out without harm, and if Ethan does not try to drag my name through the dirt one more time." The alarm wailed. The deputy at the aisle breathed like a metronome. The AV tech's battery blinked red. Then the house systems thumped back to life. Power returned. Lights steadied. The fire panel reset. The alarm coughed quietly. Someone at facilities had chosen a side. The main screens woke with a brief blue, then mirrored the small projector. Maya at the rail, folder under her arm, calm as a witness. The room, that shifting animal, settled. Ethan's attorney finally found a useful sentence. "On advice of counsel," he said, "we will not be responding here." His voice was low, shaped like a door closing. "Good," Maya said. "Then listen." She didn't play F again. She didn't need to. She held the tab a beat longer, then tucked the folder under her arm and turned the phone so the front row could read the timer. 0104, 0103. "Ethan," she said, "this would have been a quiet, broken engagement. You chose a loud wedding. That choice is yours forever." He opened his mouth, then saw his mother's hand on his sleeve, white-knuckled, begging him not to feed the fire. He shut it. Maya looked to the AV tech. "Kill the screens," she said. He did. She looked to the deputy. "Walk me downstairs, please." They met at the top step. He offered a palm. She didn't need it, but she took it anyway because some choices are about what you want the room to learn. I stared at my phone, the cancel send button now a breath away. 0019, 0018. Maya reached the bottom step, crossed the aisle, and stopped in front of Ethan with 5 feet between them and the world holding its breath. He said nothing. She nodded once, as if telling herself a truth she planned to keep. She pressed cancel. The red turned gray. Scheduled emails canceled. The room exhaled for the first time in 20 minutes. "Counsel," Maya said to the attorney, "you'll receive the full packet by certified mail. HR and the board already have internal copies. If any of this vanishes, the schedule restarts." He nodded, jaw tight. Maya glanced at the kid with the box cutter. "You okay?" she asked. He looked 12 for a second. "I didn't..." He swallowed. "I didn't cut it." "I know," she said. "Today you chose better." Outside, I watched the patrolman at the SUV take the driver's license and radio in it. The brimmed hat sat on the dash, empty, like a habit someone had decided to break. Guests stood, finally, a low tide of murmurs and the sound of heels relearning how to walk. The string quartet packed silently, one of them wiping a tear like she didn't trust it to fall on its own. I started my car and let the AC push the hot air out. I opened the event folder and added the last line in my notebook. 10:29, power restored. Deputy holds line. Maya cancels send. Ceremony canceled. Record stands. I drove around to the side entrance. A patrolman lifted a hand. "Wait." I waited. 2 minutes later, Maya walked out with the deputy and the AV tech flanking her like parentheses. She saw my car and smiled the smallest real smile of the day. She got in, shut the door, and let her head rest against the seat. We didn't speak for a full block. At the light, she said, "You watched?" "I did." "Did I go too far?" "You went far enough." We passed the Hale Supply billboard on the edge of town. Someone had spray-painted a single line across the bottom, "Do better, not art, a sentence." In the weeks that followed, the company announced an audit and leadership changes. HR sent out an email about reporting channels that didn't sound like threats. The board met in a room with a long table and shorter patience. Ethan resigned to focus on family. The kid from the loading dock got a call from a warehouse across town and took it. The AV tech started getting double booked. People in Cedar Mesa did what they always do, talked. But this time the stories bent toward fact. It's odd how a room can teach a town. As for us, we kept it simple. Maya moved into a small place with a lock that felt new. She boxed the dress and sent it back without a note. We kept the folder, tabs and all, in a safe where paper can breathe. If any part of this feels like your life, if you are standing in a quiet kitchen with a message that feels like a hand over your mouth, remember what we learned. Fear makes you quiet. Records make you heard. You don't have to light a room to tell the truth. Sometimes you just have to keep the lights from going out. And when the room finally chooses, stand still and let it.